Tennessee is going to Pittsburgh to play the Fighting Kedon Slovises and the Backyard Brawl champions. They obviously had a really tough fought win against West Virginia in that Backyard Brawl that they won. But Tennessee put on a show against Ball State. Both these programs are ranked. Tennessee coming in at 24, Pitt at number 17. And Tennessee lost this game last season. Now, Pitt looked a little bit different last year with Kenny Pickett and Mark Whipple and Jordan Addison, but you don't think Tennessee remembers that? They're out for blood in this game. The line right now is Tennessee minus 6.5. Pitt, I think, would like to probably keep it a little bit lower scoring if they can. Kedon Slovis, again, 38 points last week. A pick six was factored into that, but they still had a pretty strong offensive showing. Rodney Hammond for Pitt, the running back, I was really impressed with last week. Thought he ran the ball really hard, forced the issue against West Virginia. They had to commit bodies. They had to commit bodies to the run game. And that's what Tennessee, I think, is going to have to do in this game in order to slow him down and neutralize that threat. Now, the only issue for Tennessee is that's what Pitt wants to do. For Pitt to be able to win this game, they need to have the play-action game working. We saw it last week against West Virginia. There were times where Kedon Slovis, when the run game wasn't working early on, I'm not biting on play action if you're not running the football effectively, my guy. That's just the way it goes. You got to show me you can do it if you want me to honor it. So Pitt needs to establish the run, and I think Rodney Hammond is going to be a big piece of that, obviously. But Kedon Slovis showed you why he had that big year at USC previously. I mean, he went over 300 yards against West Virginia, a lot of ability. He's going to test Tennessee, especially if they can get that play-action game working. Now, defensively, Pitt is going to stack the box. Josh Heupel talked about it this week in his press conference. He said they're going to commit extra bodies and play real physical with you in that front seven to stop the run. And Josh Heupel also seceded, folks, Tennessee media, you know our game. A lot of what we do starts with that running game, starts with Jabari Small. So for Tennessee, can you generate something when they do stack that box? And for Pitt, can you ultimately stop the run and force them to play left-handed and only throw the football? Left-handed is maybe the wrong term to use, but I promise you they want to run the football first and foremost and throw off that. Can you get them off schedule? Can you get them off script by committing extra bodies to that front seven and then be diligent on the back end? Because they played well statistically, did Pitt, in terms of being able to play well in the secondary, but there were times, big old Bryce Ford Wheaton, 6'3", he gave them problems. That big body wide receiver for West Virginia gave them problems. Something to keep an eye on, because for Tennessee, this will be their first real test since they took care of business against Ball State. But they have someone that I think is an interesting comp to Bryce Ford Wheaton, and that's Cedric Tillman, their go-to guy, over 1,000-yard receiver last year in the Southeastern Conference. That's saying something. He's also 6'3". He's also a matchup problem. And if I'm Tennessee, I'm going to test that. I'm going to say, okay, you had problems with someone kind of similar to Cedric Tillman. We were already going to throw him the ball, but now we're definitely going to throw him the ball. Because Pitt, for all that they try to do in the run game, for all the intensity they have in the run game, they let their DBs play on an island. They play a lot of man coverage. And so I think that's something to keep an eye on in this game, because what we know about Tennessee, they got some playmakers. At the very least, they have one dynamic playmaker in Cedric Tillman. Something to keep an eye on. Like we mentioned, Pitt's going to try and stop the run. Tennessee's going to try and run the ball effectively. Ultimately, if Tennessee can run the ball, you're going to see fireworks. You're going to see them light up that scoreboard. You're going to see Cedric Tillman have over 100 yards receiving, because that's the formula for Tennessee. They're also going to go NASCAR fast. They're going to run a lot of plays. How does Pitt handle that? How does Pitt respond to this kind of tempo? I'm just saying, it's something to watch as this game progresses, because tempo wears out a defense. And a tired defense is typically not a good rush defense. And we saw that last week when they played West Virginia. Pitt didn't look awesome against Mathis. Let up over 100 yards rushing, wasn't a strong showing. So for the Panthers, all of it starts with stopping that run. That's their calling card. That's who they want to be. Can they be that against Tennessee? It's going to have to be the case. Otherwise, Hendon Hooker is going to light him up. He's that talented. They're that dynamic across the board. They're going to light them up. Now, defensively, Tennessee's going to have to answer the call. Tennessee is going to have to answer the call to what Pitt's going to try to do offensively, which is running the ball, which is playing physical. Sort of the yin and yang here. Pitt wants to be physical and then do play action. Tennessee wants to run the ball, wear you out, and then spread you out. That's sort of the mix, if you will, when it comes to this game. So Tennessee's got to be able to withstand a couple of those punches to keep them out of that play action rhythm, if you will. When it comes to our prediction for this game, we just think Tennessee's going to score. There's no more Kenny Pickett for Pitt. There's no more Jordan Addison for Pitt. It was a track meet a year ago. I think that Tennessee gets out to a quick pace, and when they can force that issue against Pitt, I think it very much favors the Vols. That's bad news if you're a Pitt fan. A lot of points for Tennessee. I think it's 31-20 Tennessee, so they cover, and we think they win this game. We think they win this game in revenge sort of fashion. So Josh Heupel, Tennessee, Hendon Hooker, they keep on rolling and get a big win, revenge win against Pitt. That'll be a fun one to watch, though. I think we learned a lot about both programs. Pitt's sort of this mystery right now. I thought they very easily could have lost that game against West Virginia last week. Bryce Ford Wheaton, who we're a big fan of on this show, hit the hands, my guy. Had 2 touchdowns receiving, a great tackle on special teams, but it hit the hands, goes up in the air. Your heart breaks for the kid, and run it back. That ultimately ended up being the difference in that game. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.